Okay, so today I'm super excited, but I'm also super nervous. I am going to be making Skittles. So this is thanks to a coworker of mine. He had heard about this pastry chef, and he thought that I reminded him of her, and thought that I would appreciate what she does. So it looks like essentially she recreates a lot of different like candy bars and different things you can buy at like a convenience store, stuff like that, and makes a gourmet version of it. So I'm going to try the Skittles one because I love Skittles and it seems like something I can do. So theoretically anyway. I'm also going to take it a step farther, and she just did regular Skittles. I'm going to do the sour Skittles. So yeah. Should be interesting on that front. So yeah, this should be very interesting. I've worked with sugar a little bit, but it's not something I'm super great at. My sugar work technique is not great. I've made candies and done some sugar work, but not a whole lot. So this is going to be an interesting challenge for me. I'm super excited, and it's also because I am a little bit fearful about doing this. It's kind of given me a little bit of a angle of where I might go with my Michael recipe, because of course his power is drawing out people's fear, so I wanted to connect that to my recipe somehow, and the only way I could figure out how to connect fear to a recipe is something that I am scared to do or intimidated by, and I've discovered in the course of wanting to do this recipe that sugar work is something that intimidates me and scares me a little bit. So that might somehow connect to my Michael recipe. So we'll see on that, but that's set aside. So yeah, here we are. We're going to be making gourmet, homemade, sour Skittles. So let's do this. Okay, so I'm just prepping the flavorings. So I'm doing a lemon, lime, and orange. So this should be interesting, how this goes. And I just opened the citric acid and I smelled it for the first time. Holy Jesus, strong. But definitely what I think that is on the outside of the candies. So I might mix that in with sugar as well and coat the outside of the candies in that. But that's quite a few steps away, potentially tomorrow, because it does look like the taffy part of it has to sit for a few hours. So I might be doing that part of it tomorrow. We'll see. Doesn't matter. It's all going to be one video anyway, so. But yeah. Okay, so I've got my flavoring set up. So now in this pot, I have my water, sugar, corn syrup, butter, cornstarch, and a pinch of salt. So I've got to melt this, stir this until it's all melted together, and then I've got my candy thermometer, which I've never used a candy thermometer before, so this is going to be interesting. I have to cook that over medium-high heat until it reaches 250, I believe, is what it said. I'll double check that once this is melted. With my pastry brush to wipe down the sides. So there's the pastry brush already, and there's my candy thermometer ready. So this is the part that I'm most nervous at. Not the melting part of it, but the cooking until 250 point, because if you're not exact with this, it could screw it up. So this is kind of the key part of this whole shebang. So yeah, we'll see how it turns out. The other interesting thing about this too is I am using a electric stove, and Claire used a gas stove, which is a lot easier to maintain temperature and to work with as far as temperature control, which is kind of key with this recipe. So this is going to be interesting too. So yeah. So yeah, with this she also said to stir, but stop stirring once it reaches a boil, is I believe how it's supposed to be. So yes, this is going to be very, very interesting. So yeah, we've definitely, it's dissolving nicely. Like I can hear it or smell it and hear it too. You can kind of hear, I don't know if you can quite hear all the way over there, but you can hear it getting smoother. I'm not hearing the sugar as much against the sides of the pot. My heart is racing, you guys, like absolutely racing. And we haven't even, like, so far it's easy. I'm stirring, like I'm just melting, but racing. I didn't realize, I forgot about the corn syrup. So literally I had enough to make this. That's it. So if I screw this up, I don't have enough corn syrup to remake it. So yeah, my heart's racing even more than it was before. Probably should have cut the butter up into smaller pieces. She did have them pretty big, so yeah, but just for easy sake, I should have cut it up into smaller pieces. By the way, also it says 4 tablespoons in the recipe. 4 tablespoons equals 1/4 cup, which is a lot easier to measure with butter, especially, I don't know if all butters, but a lot of butters have those nice cup, 1/4 cup, 1/3 of a cup, 1/2 cup measurements on the sides. You just have to cut it, line up the lines and cut it. So if yours has that, yeah, it's 1/4 cup of butter. It's what 4 tablespoons is equal to. Yeah, so it feels like all the sugar's dissolved, but the butter is not. So definitely smaller pieces. Okay, there we go. Everything is dissolved. It's a nice smooth mixture. I rub my spatula along the sides and bottom of the pot, and there's no grainy sound going, and the butter is completely melted. So I think this is the stage where I add my thermometer and start kind of just leave it alone and let it reach 250. So and obviously brush down the sides as I showed earlier. I've got my water, my pastry brush, and I've got it in water to brush down the sides of it. So let's do this. Okay, that's cool seeing the candy thermometer. So it is climbing relatively fast. I'm almost at 125 Fahrenheit, and I just started. So yeah, definitely keep an eye on this. I have to say, I don't like this candy thermometer. I'm going to try to track down a better one, more like the one that Claire has, because that one seems to hold on the pot better than this one does. This one does not hold on the pot at all, and it's very, very annoying. Yeah, crappy candy thermometer does not hold at all. Super annoying. Going to get that nice big one, not that one, because that one doesn't fit well at all. That's what I get. I did buy it at the grocery store, so lesson learned. Don't just get any old candy thermometer because you feel like it. Because that was bought on a whim. I'm like, I should own a candy thermometer. Okay, I cannot convey to you how much I hate this thing. This candy thermometer. It's horrible. Do not get the one that I got. It's a pain. Also, tip, use the biggest pot you can. Well, not necessarily the biggest pot you can, but go bigger than what you think you're going to need, because otherwise it will boil over. And sugar is not going to be fun to clean up. Yeah, as I'm learning that the hard way. Because, yeah, mine's boiling. It's boiling over and it's creating quite a mess. So, it'll be super, super fun for me to clean up. Bigger pot than you think you're going to need if you're going to do this, and a better candy thermometer. those are my tips. So according to my candy thermometer, we're at 225. I am super, super nervous. With the color and the smell, it's starting to smell and look more like caramel. So I'm starting to second guess whether this thermometer is working. But I mean, I don't have candy experience, so I just gotta trust the thermometer and hope this works out. Oh my gosh, but definitely I'm not going to be finishing this today, for sure. I'm going to, once this stage is done and my flavors are added, it needs to cool down, so I will let that cool down. I think Claire let it cool down overnight, so I will do the exact same thing and do the outer covering tomorrow, which should be more fun, because I'm less nervous about that part of it. So yeah. Okay, seriously though, I thought my heart rate was racing before. Yeah, not so much. You can kind of see I've flushed up, like I'm much redder, and because I'm so nervous. It's staying very long at 225, and it's like the impatient part of me wants to wait, but I know I have to pay attention because I remember, if I remember my learning correctly, sugar can super quick goes from not ready, burnt. Like, so I just gotta have faith. Have faith. Okay, so I'm feeling a little more confident. We're still at 225. Good gosh, but if you look at the sugar under, like if I get a spoonful of the mixture underneath the bubbles, I don't know how well you can see. Oops. But you can see it's still not, it's not like a caramel color or anything like that. So it's still good. It's not burnt. So it's still doing what it should, hopefully. So I'm a little more confident now, seeing the color of the sugar, the liquid underneath. I'd be really nervous if it was caramel color, but it's not. So we're good. Yay! But yeah, one thing I've learned, sugar making or candy making is a long process. These Skittles better be amazing. That's all I gotta say at this point, because oh my gosh, this is long and I don't have this is why I think I've never made candy before, is I just don't have the kind of patience for this. I just don't. It's been at 225 for I don't know how long. Over half an hour at 225. This video is clearly going to be a video of me progressively getting angrier and more impatient. But the color of the mixture is still good. Like, it's still opaque and it's not caramel. So that means I haven't overcooked it yet. It's just taking a long time. So it's taken like 45 minutes to get to here, somewhere around there. Kind of see where we are. It's finally rising. We're about, I think, 230, about. Yes, finally. So I'm not going to film this part because I have to probably act pretty quickly with this. Once this reaches 250, I'm removing it from the heat, adding a half a cup butter, cut into chunks, whisking it in, and then I will be pouring it onto this. It's already sprayed. Hopefully it won't stick to it. Letting it cool until it's cool enough that I can handle it. And then that'll be the next step. So we'll see you at that step. So, this step is pulling the taffy and then incorporating the flavors. So, let's see if I can do this. Oh my gosh, that is sticky. Oh jeez. That is such a weird texture. Okay, so part of what Claire was saying was that you do it until it holds its texture. So it shouldn't hold as a... So one of the things Claire was saying is you do it until it holds its texture. Look at that color though. It's not actually this greasy, it's just because I sprayed my hands so it doesn't stick as much to my hands. But yeah, so we're gonna mold it. This is actually super fun. See, this is the fun part of it. If I could, you know, either have somebody else worry about that sugar stage or have that done already for me, this is what I would do. This handling of it is so much more fun. So it has set for about 10 minutes before I start handling it. And it's starting to form a proper shape here. This is where having somebody else filming would be nice, because then I could show you, but I'll show it to you once I'm done. And it looked like right when the taffy was ready, that's when they added it and kind of just mixed it in at the very final stage with the flavors. So that's what I'm doing right now. I'm not separating it yet. I'm just gonna work it, and then once it gets to what I think is the right stage, I'll mix in the flavorings, and yeah, we'll go from there. Oh my gosh, this is going to be such a pain to clean. On the upside, I'm doing pretty good keeping it on this tray, so I'm proud of myself for that. I will say I tried it earlier just to kind of see, and this is without the flavors, and just this by itself tastes really good. Doesn't taste like Skittles, but it tastes really good. Okay, I'm gonna try to bring this over here. I don't know if this is what it should be before I add the flavorings, but I think I'm gonna... It all holds mostly together. It's still kind of greasy. I don't know if that's because I haven't worked it enough or because of the spray. I sprayed too much in my effort to not have it stick. I don't know. I don't know how that's gonna affect things, but I'm going to just go with it and now divide it into 3 and put it in the flavors. Because the sugar and citric acid will get rid of the greasiness. Oh my gosh. Oh, mess, mess, mess. Okay, so let's look at messy tray. So I might end so this is gonna be super fun to clean. We'll look at that later. So I've got them all in the bowls, and I'm just gonna kind of knead the flavorings in. Oh yeah. So this is the lemon one, I think. Yeah. Oh yeah. Oh man, look at that. That is some Skittle inside. Okay, so I'm gonna mix the other ones and then I'm gonna taste a little bit just because this is all like the flavorings. I have not put any, I do have artificial lemon and artificial orange flavoring just because I happen to be curious to buy it. I have not added that in here yet. So we'll see. This is just all natural stuff. You know, fat and sugar, totally natural stuff. So we'll see what it tastes like. I also didn't grate the zest small enough, so it's like large chunks of zest. Well, at least you can tell it's homemade, right? So, okay. That's actually really good. Wow. I think I might leave that. I might add extract. I might add either extract to either the lemon or the orange, just to see the comparison. I think I'm gonna do that. Definitely if I add extract, it's to the orange, not the lemon, because the lemon is, oh my gosh, so good. Oh my gosh, a Skittle flavor. That tasted like almost like a Skittle. Except better, because it's natural. So I've covered it with a piece of parchment paper, each of the flavors, wrapped them with cling wrap, and put them in the fridge, and that is all for today. Thank gosh. So tomorrow I will be doing the pastillage, I think is how it's called, and I'm super excited for that because that looks pretty similar to dough. So I'm hoping that it is, because I can do dough. I can work with dough. So there's that. So I have to do that to cover them, shape them, cover them with the pastillage, make the pastillage, cover them with the pastillage, and then sour them up. So having tasted some actual sour Skittles that I haven't had in a while, it does taste like the citric acid smells. So I have a sneaking suspicion that my colleague was right, and which I'm not surprised. She's done way more baking than I have, so she would know that it is citric acid. So I have yellow sugar. Unfortunately, that was the only one I could get. So I'll be doing the lemon. Well, I'll be doing them all in this, but the lemon will actually match because I'm not spray painting them. I'm not using food coloring to dye them. I'm just not. I'm not going, that's cool. Like, if I had that, I could do it. I have no desire to do that, so I'm not doing that. So this will give it a little bit of the color. So I'll be mixing this sugar with the citric acid, and hopefully that'll give it some sourness, and maybe I might actually, for at least the lemon and lime, mix some actual lemon and lime juice in there. I think that's what I'm going to use to get it to stick. I don't know. This part of it will be completely on my own with my colleague's help, with her recommendations, but because Claire didn't make them sour, so that'll be all on me. So yeah, looking forward to tomorrow. Should be fun. Till then. Okay, so it's day 2 of my Skittles. So hopefully today will be easier than yesterday. Today is the pastillage, which pretty much looks like kind of similar to pastry as far as the rolling out and the cutting and all that stuff. So hopefully I should be able to do it. Yeah, it should be interesting. I did somewhat check on the inside of the Skittles already, and it has solidified. So that's good. I haven't tasted it yet today, but yeah, it should be hopefully go a lot smoother today than it did yesterday, especially considering yesterday was rough, but I don't actually have to measure a temperature of sugar today, so yeah. Also, it wasn't fun to clean up all that sugar, just a tip. It's not fun. So that just, I think, added to the frustration, but today should be nice and smooth, hopefully. So let's get started. Okay, so I tasted them. They're super, super good. I don't have a small little scoop. You have plastic measuring spoons, but I do have a melon baller. So I melon balled them. So they're a little bit bigger than Skittles normally, but I'm okay with that. That's fine. So that's the lemon, my least favorite one. Uh-oh, they're sticking together. There's the lime. That's my personal favorite. And then the orange one. So you can see how I zested the fruits too thick. So you can actually see the pieces of the fruit in there, which is not Skittles, but actually kind of neat. So we're working with that. Okay, so I have gelatin here that I've allowed to bloom for 10 minutes. So we're just going to put that aside while the water heats up to melt that. So in this bowl I've got some cream of tartar. It kind of got all over the place when I opened it up. Luckily it only calls for a pinch of it. So pretty much I'm just using what I got in the bowl. That's kind of how I'm approaching this. The next ingredient I'm gonna add is cornstarch. Next ingredient is icing sugar, and that's pretty well it. Like, this is a super, super simple recipe. So I'm just gonna add the icing. Inhale the icing sugar, and then add it. Okay, so I'm just melting the gelatin here. That's hot. Oh geez, I might set off the smoke alarm again. It's all this burnt sugar everywhere. So once the gelatin is dissolved, just pour it in a well that you created in your icing sugar cornstarch mix and mix until fully incorporated. I screwed this up. I halved everything but the gelatin. Oops. Okay, I'm gonna try to fix this. Okay, so I think I fixed it by just, you know, doubling the other ingredients. So I'm making a little bit more pastillage than I had intended. But yeah, whoops. So if you're gonna have it, make sure you have all the ingredients. Not all of them, but one. So there we go. We're just kind of kneading it until it forms nice dough. This is why I was excited for this stage, because I love working with dough. So essentially I'm working with a sweet dough here. I mean, it's just sugar, gelatin, and cornstarch, and a little bit of cream and tartar, and water. And that's it. So yeah, just gonna knead it a bit longer. And then you cover it, you break off a little piece, cover it, cover the rest so it doesn't dry out, and start rolling. So just like I would with dough, I'm gonna get a little icing sugar and put it on my work surface so it doesn't stick. And roll it out. You don't want it too thick. I think she said 1/4 inch. Something like that. I can't remember exactly what she said. But I'm including the link to this video so you can see what she said exactly. And then wet it so it'll stick. Lay it inside whatever you use to measure the Skittles. And just reform it. Pop it in there and kind of fold around. Oh. Well, this shape is not gonna be. I might have a little bit more pastillage than, whoa. Okay, well that doesn't look pretty. Yeah. There, kind of. So I'm just gonna do the rest of these and then leave them dry, and once they're dry in a few hours, we'll go from there. So, I don't know. Hopefully they'll look better than that. Okay, well, here they are. They're not super, super pretty, but they're all mostly covered in pastillage. So, and I have had so much sugar. As you can see, there's quite a few less. Well, not quite a few less. There's some less than what I started with. But that's okay. I need to try them while I was rolling them, wrapping them. So, yeah, here they are. So now we're just gonna let them dry for a few hours and go from there. See the next step, see how they taste, and see how I'm gonna do this souring of them. So, and as you can see, I kind of screwed up and they're all mixed up. So I don't know which flavor is which until I bite into it, but that's okay. I'm not too concerned. So yeah, souring, next step. Letting them dry, and then I'm gonna coat them in some sour sugar. That really sounds gross. But yeah, so there we go. So it's been about 6 hours now since I wrapped the Skittles in the pastillage. Pastillage? I think that's how you pronounce it. And now they're nice and hard. So, I mean, not too bad. They don't look like Skittles, but they're a lot bigger, but definitely, you know, that same effect. Hard outside, soft inside maybe. Let's try one before we sour them up. So, yeah. Hard outside, soft inside. That's a lemon one. Or maybe an orange one. It's not lime. But you can definitely see very distinct difference. Very chewy on the inside and then hard on the outside. So, well, it's not perfect. It's definitely a lot bigger than a Skittle. Not too shabby for never having done this before, I think. And it tastes really, really good. Like, it's a nice, fresh... Oh, there's a little bit... Oh, there's that sour taste on the back. But yeah. And you can see the texture. See? And the shell cracks like a Skittle would. So, yeah, I call that a win. I would definitely thin out the shell a little bit more. I think I did on some of the other ones, but yeah, it's good. So, let's try this souring it up a bit. So I've got lemon juice and I have yellow sugar that I just spilled everywhere, mixed with citric acid to hopefully give it that sour flavor. And it might color it because it definitely colored my finger when I mixed it. So let's see if this works. So I'm just kind of wetting the whole thing in the lemon juice and then just rolling it in the sugar. So yeah, it's colored it. If I had the colors of all the sugars, this would be so much better than the food coloring, because that colored it. I think that's too much sugar, but you know, colored it. So I'm gonna get, I say that that's better than the food coloring, knowing full well that sugar has food coloring in it. So really it's 6 of one, half a dozen of the other. But it still colors it, and didn't have to buy a spray air thing to do it. So here's a regular yellow Skittle, sour Skittle. And here's my giant monstrosity. So yeah, I mean, it's definitely, it's different, but it's still good. Let's see what it tastes like. So first I'll taste what the sour Skittle tastes like. Yep, sour. But bite size, I definitely would make these a lot smaller. This is huge, but okay, let's give this a go. Oh wow, that's sour. Oh wow. So citric acid is very, very powerful, because I did not put much citric acid in that sugar mix, and lemon juice is not that not that powerful, at least not for me anyway. So that's but it's good. It's powerful, but really good. And then there's the inside of that. So yeah, I'm actually overall pretty impressed with myself, considering the frustration I went through yesterday to try to get the sugar to temp. That is a pretty solid first attempt, I would say. But I have to echo Claire's feeling towards this, and have a feeling I'm never going to make this again. I did freeze the rest of the pastillage, because I think Claire said it's a good thing to freeze. I might be wrong, we'll find out, but especially after my mistake of having most of the recipe except for the gelatin, so having to fix that, I had way too much for the amount of Skittles I wanted to make. So I guess soft candy now. I guess we can't really call them Skittles because they're their own candy now. There we go. There you go. Hopefully, so yeah, I'm going to finish these finish off the rest of these and take a picture, and there we go. Hope you guys enjoyed my little attempt at making candy, and yeah, if you guys do it, I'd love to see it, and it's definitely, you know, it's fun. It's something that I'm glad I tried. So, what more can you ask for, right?
Just wanted to get a final shot of them all, so yeah, not too bad. There we go. Homemade Skittles inspired candy. We'll call it that. Yeah. Pretty pleased with that. And
so yeah, pretty pleased with that. It took a long time. But you know, it was worth it. It was a challenge and something new, as I said before. So yeah, I will enjoy this little treat. So pretty proud of myself.